Hey everybody, hope you're all doing well today. Started doing one of those jobs which you just don't like. I have to put a top cap on it. There's supposed to be a double plate on the top. I calculated in for you everything else, so we need it. And I had to do some quick calculating because, as all the builders out there know, and I'm not sure if anybody who's not a builder knows, when you put two plates together, the idea is that the top plate does two different things. One, it helps spread out the load because the rafters above it may not end up right on top of, in fact, I guarantee they won't end up right on top of a stud because they're at different spacing. My rafters are going to be at 24-inch spacing, and my studs are at 16-inch spacing, so they won't line up. So you need to make sure you put a double plate to take the load of the rafters and spread it between two of the studs, even if we happen to end up right in between. Second thing is that where the walls join together, and there's two sections of the wall that I've lifted up, you want the top plate to jump over that gap. You do not want the gaps to line up. That would be a weak point. You want the maximum distance almost in between them possible. Make sure you jump over any gaps that you have there. So I did some quick calculating to make sure that they don't line up, and I started with a smaller 8-foot piece rather than a 16-foot piece, and I just got one up so far. Let's see if we can see it up there. You can kind of see it. That's the top one. And you notice, like I said, a gap where the side wall tied into the back wall. So the top plate on the side wall, or the lower top plate on the side wall, butted into the top plate on the back wall. Now I made sure that my top plate on the side wall jumps over that gap and actually goes onto the top plate, the lower top plate of the back wall. I hope that makes sense to everybody. Needless to say, you have to jump a gap. No two gaps should line up. So that's what I'm up to. And just not a fun job, unfortunately. Not that any job on this whole thing is fun, but you need to get the lumber up there, and then you need to line it up. And you want to line it up with the top plates there. And it's going to also help keep the wall straight now. I actually picked the very straightest wood I could find out of the pile, and I'm using that for this top plate so that hopefully, even though I think my wall's fairly straight now, at least this one is, I haven't checked the outside one yet, it will help to hold that wall straight. So that's where I am at with it. You gotta get the lumber up there. And I bet y'all have to take a clamp, because even for that short 8-foot one, I need a clamp on there just to pull the one end over just a bit. And again, it wasn't off much, 1/16, 1/8 of an inch maybe, but you want them to line up as close as possible. And in my case, I've already decided that the outside of the wall is my reference. The side that's inside that bay is my reference, because I'm going to go width to width for the rafters. That's what I've kind of needed to get a point, so that's the point I'm determined. All right. Okay, I don't know if it's going to work or not, but you know, dragging that gun up there all the time and trying to balance that hose and having it pull back on me. I've got regular spiral deck nails, framing nails, galvanized, any of those things. Let's see if this works. I know somebody complained. They said that you can be way more accurate with a, what do you call it, nail gun, because they said that you're not trying to hold the wood and everything else. But, you know, at this point, I'm going to try a few different things to see what works the best. Okay, work time injury. Damn it. Clobbered myself with a hammer, of course. Blood everywhere. Ripping. Just stupid. Doesn't really matter. Dumb as all. Dirt all the put up candy on. Blood, yeah, stupid. Bleeding like a stuffed pig. Jesus. Just hit my thumb. I was trying to nail with a hammer instead of a gun. I guess I forgot to you how to use a hammer. Okay, we're back. Oh, damn, that was stupid. I think I forgot how to use a hammer. I guess I need instructions on how to use a hammer without clobbering yourself. Okay. You know, I was always taught don't choke up on a hammer and just tap it. If you're meant to hammer a hammer, this is a framing hammer, which is heavy. It's meant to be heavy. It's got a serrated end on it. So it hits, of course, when it hits flesh, it does wonders too. It's a heavy hammer. It works very well for driving long framing nails, but that also means it hurts more when it hits you. So, oh, God. All right, we'll go try again. I just don't like the idea of having that air hose drag you down and trying to balance the gun above your head and everything. I could put the ladder up higher, if anybody's wondering, but when you put the ladder up higher, it's not resting on that front. I'm trying to level those two boards, so when the ladder actually pushes the board a little bit off, because it's actually would be resting on the top board, not on the second board. So it's not easy to put that ladder all the way up. So, all right, we'll just try it again. Blood all over the place, blood on the concrete. At some point we ran out of film, so ran out of film. God, you can tell I'm old. At some point we timed out on the video. That means it took over a half hour to do that. God help me. It's gonna take days just to put the damned second cap on. Second sill, top plate. Anyways, it's gonna keep going, that's all. And I think a better way to get that next piece up, but I hated getting up the way I did. I'll think about this in a minute. Maria suggested a machine. I hate driving that thing all the way over just for this, but you know, maybe that's a better idea, or maybe I can slide it off at an angle or something like that for this next one, because the next one will go up over here at the end, and I'll just use the filler piece in the middle. That'll jump all the joints again the way I talked about, so I think that's maybe what I'll do. Alright guys, maybe a couple minutes for me to think about it, so I'll talk to you in a while. Bye bye. Okay, let's try, well, we had one full board, one part board. Let's try a full one again. I was thinking about trying to use the machine, I said, but I hate to try it. I just think I'm going to have to reach out just as hard and everything else. Maybe I'm wrong. I might end up that yet, but I'm going to try just lifting it upward. I've actually just stood it up against the other side. I was going to do it on this side of the lyre, and Maria suggested I try on the other side in case it falls. It'll fall away from the lyre, not knock the lyre out with it. So, what are you thinking, dear? We'll give it a try and see if we can get this one up. Any better, any worse. Definitely easier than the first time. Might be the way to do it. Yeah, you just gotta listen to the wife once in a while. Alright. It's heavy. You have to be able to hold it with one hand while you switch hands back and forth to lift it. But we got it. It's all good. It's all good. The lyre I'm fighting with is older than me. It's my dad's old one, and he passed away years ago. And he fell off of it sometime in the 60s, climbing our roof of the first house we had. And it's got a bend to it. And the locks, it's not that they don't hold, they just don't want to unlock, if you will. They don't want to slide to let the rungs go up. They just jam all the time. It's old, and I'm surprised it's still one piece. But and the other one that I'm using all the time, there you see that I modified the top and put the crossbar on, actually with my uncle's. I got used from him because way back in the, oh god, I gotta say with the 80s, maybe the early 80s. Yeah, it had to be the early 80s because I had it before I moved to the States. he bought it to do a roofing job and got tar all over it and didn't want it anymore because it was dirty. So I took that one. And same way, the little clips that hold and don't hold keep getting jammed. I really should buy a new one, just a lot of money, that's all. But maybe I'll convince myself into getting a new one yet. I don't know. And these are heavy. My dad's old one is real heavy. This one's not long enough, unfortunately. I'm betting this one's only about a 16 or maybe an 18 footer high as it goes, and it's just not long enough. The small one that I like, and it's fairly light, but it's not long enough. It barely reaches the top. And the other heavy one, my dad's, is probably a 24 footer, I bet, which is really good. You'll get to the top of this at least, but like I said, it's just in bad shape. I probably need a 24 footer, a good one day. One day, I'll buy it when I'm done the project. That's the way I do all my stuff. I wouldn't want to buy one and use it for a job. Might get it dirty or hurt it. Duh. I know you real builder though, they must be having a laugh. I'm sure that a real builder would just not even think twice about a ladder or maybe even a lift or something, but I might end up having to rent a lift later, I keep telling myself, because I don't know how I do the edges outside underneath the eaves, and there's where I want to, but I just hate to get one too early because I know they're expensive to rent. So that might be what I do at the end, but I don't want to start renting one now for framing. God, I bet this for what, 10 weeks, whatever? Maybe longer than that now, 2 months. So I don't want to rent one all summer and get broke just renting. God. All right. Whew. All right, it's after 8, about quarter after 8:30, and we're done. One whole wall. Yay. Oh, it took forever. I gotta get quicker at this, and maybe I will, but that is the double sill on the top, or double top plate, I mean, all the way along, done. Tied into the outside walls, straight. The beam is in, all the ties are down. It's done. If I had the rest of it done, I could be putting floor joists on that tomorrow. But I'm not near there yet. But so maybe tomorrow, if the weather holds, we'll get 3 more walls. They need exactly the same thing done. The far long outside wall and the front and back. But we're getting there. Slowly, but we're getting there. All right, guys. You have yourselves a wonderful evening, and we'll try it all again tomorrow. Just get some cleanup done here. Have a great night. Bye-bye.